Hey guys, I just got top 16 at this last Remote YCS, which was my first remote event ever. So I'm like ecstatic. I have a funny story. I wasn't able to get the cards for my deck because my sponsor was like letting me borrow some cards, Rocky Mountain Collectibles. They just hosted two amazing tournaments. You know, I filmed like a little vlog going there, so it's pretty sweet local if you've never been or haven't seen it. If you're ever in Colorado, I recommend you go. They get like 40 people locals every day of the weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's like 40 people each, which is insane, right? But I wasn't able to get the cards. He shipped them like 2-day priority trying to get me my cards for the event so I could play, and I wasn't able to get them, so he was just like, I'll just fly you out. And then I was like, my girlfriend's gonna be kind of upset about that because, you know, I'm leaving her again. I just left her for like 12 days before. And he was just like, I'll fly her out too. So that man, Eldlich, he is the owner of Rocky Mountain Collectibles, is a legend. I appreciate it so much. He made, I think, this top 16 possible. So I'm thrilled to be on like such a great team. And it's what really motivates me to just like keep up with Yu-Gi-Oh, the content, and just like understanding the format and trying to like be more as competitive as I can again. And I think that's why I did so well. I think if you watch like my last video, a lot of the stuff I talked about in that, I just like put into practice for this event. I did play Swordsoul. I played against in Swiss. I played 7 Sword Souls, 2 Invoked, 1 Sky Striker, and 1 Destiny Hero deck. I don't know if that's 11 round or 10 rounds, but I also played Sword Soul in top 32, which was Dom Couch. It was a lot of 2-0s. Like I lost round 2 and round 9. Both of those I think I got 2-0'd, and a lot of my matches I won I 2-0'd, which was interesting. There was a game I misplayed game 1, but I just like was so mad at myself, and then I like ended up backdoor 2-0ing them. And that was really the biggest misplay I noticed, but at least it didn't matter. I was thinking like for this, because I can't really reveal that much about like what deck I played or well the intricacies of the deck. I mean, if you watched my last video, you would know a lot of my opinions. That's why I'm just trying to be helpful with like being honest about like what I think about certain decks. So if I do well, like at least you can just like go back and like see, I don't know, see if I was lying, because like I do believe the things I say, and I mean it actually like proved itself, which is nice. I was not expecting that, especially my first event back in so long. But I think a lot of like the stuff from back when I played like 5-6 years ago has carried over just into this format, and it's the same principles. So that's really nice for me, and I'm excited to play Yu-Gi-Oh and keep playing. But yeah, so one thing I thought I would do for this video is just like go over the top 32 for the EU, and then compare it to the top 32 for NA. Because top 16 for NA right now is, I think, 9 Sword Soul, like 2. It's a lot of Sword Soul. That's all I say. Just to hide a little more info before that next month. Pasadena's right before it, which is interesting because I'm going to that. So you're going to be playing the Pasadena YCS and then playing your original deck from this event the week after. But let's look at these. So in NA, top 32 was 13 Sword Soul, 5 Invoked, 3 Lyrilusc Tri, which is really surprising to me. I think that deck is so strong. That was my lost round 2. 2 Sky Striker, Plunder Patrol, B Trooper, Eldlich, Floowandereeze, Numeron, Grand Manju. So like just all of these lesser played decks, but that are extremely strong. I think this is like kind of just really good for Yu-Gi-Oh, knowing that like any deck can at least top, especially with like some of these decks that are definitely better than they get credit for. I think B Troopers has always been one of those kind of like just pushing the envelope. A lot of my friends were waiting for them to get like these support cards that weren't announced, and when they were announced, they didn't think it would be good. Little did they know it would get second at this YCS. I need to test it more. I think it's like definitely has a lot of potential. I liked the Retaliating Sea in the European list, but I don't know if It's the best one. I think like I'm talking about just the lesser played decks. I think what is it? Prank Kids are also really strong right now and underrated. I think Drytron was super underrepresented in this event. I think that's just because of Protoss and just like how many players are actually playing Swordsoul. The fact that I played 7 in Swiss means this is the most represented deck, I think. I don't know if everyone else's tournament experience was like mine, but I would assume they probably played Swordsoul more than any other deck. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the next event. But when we're thinking about Drytrons, I would say that it's it's not as relevant as you think with the Protoss Light. Like Swordsoul do not Protoss Light a lot. Even like in situations they should, a player will most likely just still call Darks, which is interesting. So I definitely think if you're a Drytron player, don't let this deter you. It definitely seems like a pretty good deck still. I think it's maybe the second, third best deck. Sky Strikers I was super afraid of, like I said earlier, just because there can only be one. That never came up when I played against it, but it's still an annoying floodgate. I just don't think it's that powerful to win an event, and that's why I didn't win this last one. But like I said, it can play around a lot of cards very easily. So for the European, so let's just go through the differences. So 4 more Swordsoul in NA, 8 Tenyi in Europe. I think that's just proof enough. If you believe that DPE is the Swordsoul route, this might change your mind, right? Because just Tenyis are just blowout cards going second. I mean, they're just too good. Their consistency and DPE is not. So that's probably why it didn't do as well, especially with the larger player base with 718. It's going to make it harder. Sadly, we don't know if the majority of NA YCS was playing DP. I know a good amount were actually, so I definitely think the ratio from DP to Tenyi is going to be bigger in NA. Now for Invoked, the one more Invoked, but it was the second most represented deck in Top Cut. Invoked is very strong. It's like one of the best Swordsoul counters. I have a problem with it for bricking. I don't think it's consistent enough to where if you want to reliably do well at an event, I don't think Invoke's the deck to pick. And also with the just like remote duel intricacies, like people stacking, I never had a problem with that. I think being like, I didn't know you were allowed to like pick how your opponent cuts their own deck. With that rule, it seems really, really hard to get cheated to me. But you know, people complain about it all the time. I've heard horror stories. I don't know if it's just gotten better over time, but it was. I had a great time at this event. I thought everyone was fair and nice. Now, the Lyrilusc Tri difference. Why there's 4 more? I like with these things. I don't like being mean. I don't know if it's like caliber of player difference. I know a lot of people or a lot of good players I knew in the NA event were playing Swordsoul. Kamal, who I knew was playing Lyrilusc Tri, got top 32 with it. He's really good with the deck, and he topped. So I definitely think it was underrepresented in America, and it's just as strong. It still might be the best deck, if not second best. I don't think it's in top 16, so that's kind of sad, right? Bird Up can't win a YCS, or at least this one, which is surprising because those Lyrilusc cards are just such a buff to the deck, and that's what makes it. I mean, that was my lost round 2. I got 2-0'd. Plunder Patrol. All right, yeah, I'm just going to keep going through. So 4 Drytrons. We already mentioned Drytrons with like not having it in North America for some reason. This is going to change in Pasadena. I definitely believe that there will be a ton more Drytrons in Top Cut in Pasadena. That deck is just too powerful not to be doing as well as it should be. Now, 2 B builds. We had 1 B build. Bs probably weren't that played. I mean, Jesse Flores' list played 60 cards, which was interesting. That deck has to be way better than people are giving it credit for. I just need to look into it more because I haven't had the time. As soon as I'm about to look into a deck and then someone says that like it's not good anymore, that's when I just get deterred and then I get blown out by things like this. So if I played B Troopers, I would have been screwed, right? And that would have been a mistake on my part, but lucky enough, I didn't. 2 Tri-Brigade DPE, I think. Is there just Tri-Brigade? Yeah, so maybe there's no Tri-Brigade DPE in top 32 this event. That's surprising. I think that deck's relatively strong. I mean, Rescue Cat's game. So, it's probably underrepresented. A lot of people in America just, like, are playing, like, everything, right? So, like, Mech Knights, Toppings, Salamangreat. Like, we don't have a lot of these lesser played decks in EU, which is so interesting. I think that EU likes to play more, like, of the most played decks. So, EU, you're going to have, like, more Swordsoul, Lyrilusc Tri, Drytron, Striker. They're not going to try to innovate decks like Floowandereeze or, I said Floowandereeze, Plunder Patrol or Floowandereeze. Yeah, both of them. But, this event, like I said, was just, like, so fun. The rogue difference in the two events is interesting. I think that's just because people want to be the person that, like, does well with this deck for the first time. It's definitely an accomplishment I want with some deck, but I haven't found that, like, fun rogue deck that I just want to, like, make different, you know, and, like, show why it's broken. I'm sure a new deck will come out that I'll get attached to. I mean, I got attached to Synchros when that was coming out before. But yeah, I definitely want to, like, do deck profiles and make, like, an actual in-depth analysis of my decision trees, but, like, I just can't right now. I'm sorry. I just never won a YCS. I lost in the finals before, so I'm just trying to take this as serious as possible so that I can actually, like, get that dub. A dub's worth way more than it was back then. So I hope you're wishing me luck, and I'll try to get more videos out as soon as possible. So thanks. Bye.